Howdy, folks. I'm Bernard the Unhinged,
I'm Amber.
and here's my former doorway. Bernard the Unhinged is a door that came alive one day, and now he terrorizes the town. He's both unhinged in the metaphorical and literal sense, but don't worry, it'll be a quick encounter.
Story time with Brian.
Exactly. Story time with Brian. If you all want to hear about more about Bernard the Hinged, make sure to tell me. All right, folks. Our first and only letter today is titled, Am I a Jerk for Having Our Dishwasher Removed? I'm a 35-year-old male, and my girlfriend is a 30-year-old female. The short version is that after repeatedly trying to ask my girlfriend to change how she uses the dishwasher, and her basically refusing, I had it hauled away. It needed to be replaced soon, anyways, if we were going to keep using it. I feel like my girlfriend is a rational, intelligent person. We have a good communication in general, but everything revolving around the dishwasher has made me feel like I'm crazy just because of her reaction. And I can't imagine her acting so irrationally. She works a lot fewer hours than I do and does most of the housework, including the dishes. We don't have kids, and I also usually cook dinner. But her way of doing the dishes means rinsing them off quickly and then putting them in the dishwasher. It's just the two of us, and it takes a long time to fill up the dishwasher, so things just sit there for days and days. She puts everything in there, even things that we only have one of and use often: spatulas, pans, tongs, and things that I will need to use almost every time I cook. When I get home, I have to spend 10 minutes just cleaning things that I need to cook. I have asked her only to put silverware and flatware in the dishwasher unless it's going to get run that day. I've also asked her to just hand wash things completely and not even bother with the dishwasher, especially when it's just dishes from cooking and two people eating. She just tells me this is how she washes dishes, and she can start running the dishwasher every day so that I don't have to clean things before I cook. I felt this was honestly silly to me, and I didn't see why the dishwasher needed to be run every day just to compensate for someone not doing the dishes correctly. I asked her again to please just hand wash the cooking stuff and said it was fine to put the stuff that we have, like 10 of, like plates and bowls and silverware, into dishwasher, and she just looked at me and said, No, I'm not going to do that. This is how I do dishes. My response to that was to remove it while she was at work. Currently, she isn't talking to me unless she has to, and isn't doing the dishes. I'm paying a neighbor's teenager $5 a day to come over and wash dishes when she gets home from school so that when I get home from work, I can just cook. This has caused my girlfriend to say that if I paid her $5 a day, she'll go back to doing them, which really angered me, especially since this is one of the few things that she has actually said to me since I got rid of the dishwasher. But I just think that I said that I would think about it, and then I said nothing else. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yes, you're the jerk. First of all, when someone does chores in a way that you don't like, if it's not actively to sabotage the chores or dangerous, then you can do the chores.
Yeah, so I first want to say that this one was actually very controversial. So I expect people are probably going to have a multitude of opinions on this one, but I also think that OP is in the wrong here. And I think that OP is asking not a reasonable ask,
Yeah.
right? I think that if OP were to say, I just want the dishes done, do them however you want, that would be perfectly reasonable. But if their partner was not cleaning them correctly, if there was food stuck on them, then that would be a completely different matter, right?
Right.
So,
Well, and I think the girlfriend offered a compromise. She said, I'll
mhm.
wash the dishwasher every day. And I don't understand why OP is insisting she wash them by hand. It seems more like a power and control thing.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I fall here, is that this feels more like he's just trying to control her and less about whether or not she's doing the dishes, because she offered why don't I just run it every single day so you don't have to do this? And he outright refused and then took away the dishwasher because she didn't want to do dishes his way.
Yeah, like to try and force her into doing them
Yeah.
his way. And that's what it really feels like. And I have a feeling that's why she stopped doing the dishes, is she doesn't like feeling like he has the power over her and is forcing her into, well, now you do it my way. This is definitely a red flag for the relationship.
It does seem that way. And if OP is concerned about the cost, it doesn't cost $5 a day to run a dishwasher.
Mm-hmm.
It costs anywhere between 10 to 20 cents to run a dishwasher. A large dishwasher uses about 4 gallons of water, which is about how much a sink holds. So if you're filling up a sink, like when I do dishes, I fill up the sink and I do the dishes, by hand. That's already the amount of water that a dishwasher uses, right? And
Yeah.
then rinsing and everything else. So,
Well, and doing dishes can also be rough on your hands. Like I
hmm
personally have a lot of trouble like with just having my hands in water the way it feels, and like if she has her nails done or anything like that, it can also dry out your skin.
yeah, but they do make dishwashing gloves.
Well, they
So
do, but like
I'm not again rationalizing and saying that she should be doing the dishes by hand here. I think they had a dishwasher. They OP didn't like the fact that she didn't want to wash dishes by hand for some reason, and I don't really understand why this is such a hill to die on. So I really do think that OP needs to consider why he's acting this way,
mhm.
and there may be some deeper, control issues here. I'm not 100% sure, but I would definitely think that if these are, if there are things that crop up like this in the relationship a lot, where OP feels like they always have to have things done exactly their way,
Mhm.
then therapy might actually be a really good avenue to
Mhm.
explore because this isn't a healthy way to approach
Yeah.
chores or other things.
Well, I also think it's problematic how he says she's being irrational over this.
Hmm.
It's like you two have a difference of opinion.
Yeah.
That doesn't make her irrational, and it
Yeah.
makes me concerned that he like
Anytime they have a disagreement at all, he's like, you're being irrational.
because that's historically an argument that's been used to diminish women in relationships. Oh, you're not being rational right now.
Yeah. So I think that if anyone's not being rational, it's probably OP, to be quite honest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that they're approaching this in a sensible way. There was a solution given, and he just said, no, I don't like your solution. And then he disliked the solution so much that he did the really petty thing and took away the dishwasher. I know he says it's going to needed to be replaced soon.
But then replace it. Get the
Yeah.
replacement.
But replace it, when you move it out, put the new one in, right? And also, a lot of people don't actually know this, but there's actually a filter in dishwashers that need to be cleaned on a weekly basis. So if you have a dishwasher and the dishes aren't getting cleaned well, check the filter. It may actually be gunked up. It needs to be cleaned basically once a week in order for a dishwasher to run efficiently. So yeah, that'll go a long way. And also, of course, don't load dishwashers with hardened caked on food, but it sounds like she's rinsing them off before she
Mm-hmm.
puts them in there anyway, so that's not happening. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't say anywhere that the dishes aren't getting clean, so I think he's just a power move on his part.
It does seem that way. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Cinnamon Girl says, you're the jerk. Running the dishwasher half empty uses less water than hand washing every day. You are bizarrely controlling and you do not know how dishwashers work. And Rhymes Written says, this is absolutely true. In fact, as long as there are more than 7 dishes in the dishwasher, it's more efficient than hand washing. And they link a source. All right, folks, it is tea time. I don't have tea today, so I'm sorry. It's kind of a deception. Amber has a joke, though.
Did you hear about the elevator operator?
I did hear about the elevator operator. Bernard got to him. It was terrifying. It was horrible. I mean, I was traumatized. I didn't just hear about it, I saw it. I was firsthand witness. I had to hide in an elevator, Amber, behind the corner. It was terrible.
I guess that adds new meaning to the punchline. They had their ups and downs.
They did have their downs. They definitely had their downs. And like I said, I have coffee. Rip elevator operator. So sorry.
I have tea. You can guess my tea if that makes you feel better.
Yes, Amber has mint tea. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving it a like, and if you didn't, consider giving it a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.